Welcome back to the BJJ Fanatics podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Ford. My guest today is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's also a master of sport in Sambo, and he also holds a black belt in Judo. He's a combat wrestling gold medalist and a multiple-time Naga and Grapplers Quest champion. He's also a member of Team USA in the Combat Sambo Worlds. He's a very respected referee for combat wrestling, Sambo, and Jiu-Jitsu tournaments. He's also on the board of directors for the FICW, which is the governing body of combat wrestling. For years, he ran his own school, Sambo Fusion Academy in Hewitt, New Jersey. Both he and his school have relocated to McAllen, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to be joined today for the fourth time in my podcasting career by my good friend Vlad Koulikov. How are you today, Vlad?
I'm doing well, Ryan. Thank you. And oh my gosh, you got this thing down, man. Rolls off your tongue, so natural, so nice. And you remember the numbers. I thought it was 3. It's 4. So thank you, Ryan. Thank you for the opportunity again.
It's great to interview you for the fourth time. And yeah, I had you twice on Grappling Central, once on Fanatic Wrestling, and this is your first time on BJJ Fanatics podcast. So I appreciate you taking the time to be here. Yeah, to share your knowledge.
It's my pleasure. It's a good company, very reputable company, and only good things come out from dealing with them.
That's absolutely true, man. Absolutely true. Well, I'm excited to have you here, Vlad, because as you know, and for the listeners that don't know, Vlad's a good friend of mine, and you're someone that I kind of privately send questions to myself. Like whenever I'm kind of hitting a snag in my training, especially particularly with takedowns and wrestling, I always come to you first and kind of pick your brain on what you think I should be doing. So I appreciate you always being someone that's sort of a mentor to me in that way, and I really look forward to picking your brain in front of everybody else here on the show, because I know that you're a wealth of knowledge with your diverse background in grappling. So I'm excited to pick your brain again here today publicly, man.
Well, thank you. I will answer any question that's within my expertise. I appreciate your kind words.
Excellent. So Vlad, let me start by asking you, it's been a couple of years since you've been on the show, or since I interviewed you last. You've recently moved from New Jersey to Texas. What have been the biggest adjustments? What are the biggest pros and cons between the Northeast and Texas?
Oh, it is different. Not only did I move to Texas, I moved to very southern tip of Texas, which is called the Valley, right? Long Islanders don't call Long Island Long Island; they call it the island.
Right.
Manhattanites, right, call it the city, like it's the only one city. So people in RGV, Rio Grande Valley, call it the Valley. It's funny because I'm from Hudson Valley, and we always called it Hudson Valley, never the Valley. So it's a unique pocket, very nationally homogenous. It's pretty much Mexican nationals with all the outcomes: Mexican culture, Mexican stronghold culture. You know, obviously the weather was the biggest switch. And you know what? I realized I like subtropicals, man. I do not mind waking up, having my coffee, and looking at palms. There's something so common about sun that's so good for your psyche, you know. I do like winter to a degree. I do like white snow and white Christmas. That's what I meant to say, right? But after 2 weeks, you know, I had about enough. But over here, it's almost, and you know what? It gets hellacious, gets to like 115, but it never bothers me because I'm either home, in the car, or in the gym. And, you know, we have AC. I like it. We live in America, we have AC. So, you know, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, whenever I end up outside finally, I actually enjoy and welcome that blazing heat. But other than that, it's not truly an inconvenience. So culturally, it's different. You know, I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just different. Every culture provides, you know, differences or whatever. So that's what was different. You know, the people, the culture, the weather, the food. We have New York bagels and pizza. They have outrageous taco here. And you know what? You would think it's just tortilla and meat. But there's something magical in tacos here in the Valley that are like so delicious and way better than anything else. Because it's ethnical spot, you know, obviously tacos here. And finances, man, finances, dollar takes you so much farther here, you know, in South Texas and in Texas period. And in New York and New Jersey, where I came from, pricing of homes is like mockery. It's like somebody just decide to make up outrageous like amount of money and we all go with it, you know. So finally, at almost 50, I'm 48, I was capable to buy my own house here in Texas.
Well, man, so huge.
Those are, you know, in a nutshell.
Huge congratulations. That's awesome, man. Well, I'm really excited for you, man. I know that it's obviously a big undertaking to relocate completely, and especially when you take a school with you, you basically had to start all over. I assume not any of your students from New Jersey came with you. So, man, that's a big undertaking, you know. So I'm happy it's all working out.
It was, and it's a bit bittersweet when I left my crew. Like I still happy to see most of them train and winning matches. So in a sense, I achieved my goal as a coach. As short-lived I was there in New Jersey, about 4 years. I left like I think a good imprint. People still win or whatever. So as a coach, I taught my people how to taught themselves in my absence, or how I keep training. So that's my biggest takeaway from coaching. Yeah, and I still in contact with almost whoever wants to stay in contact with me. You see, I had like, let's say 50 students and only one guy. It's a little bit easier for them to hit me up than me hitting 50 of them. And I will always respond. And I have like a group of leaders, a group of people I will never forget no matter where I move, and still keep in contact. Meanwhile, in this new spot, I'm getting my new family, my new brothers and sisters on the mat, new leadership teams. For you start to train and immediately leadership foreman. You know those guys. You're right hand guy and left hand guy. So it's all coming along, man. Everything is shaping up the way it's supposed to. I wish to expedite a little bit more because my commercial, my space is like really commercial. It's the biggest gym I ever owned or operated, square footage wise and volume of students wise, and I need a little bit more students to afford the rent or whatever. I put myself in a position where I can't have to keep my wheels propelled all the time. So it's somewhat stressful, but the potential is not exhausted whatsoever. This place just keeps building up, man. Kind of like Austin, like Austin became a cultural hub spot in Texas, Central Texas or whatever, which is 5 hours from us, man. That's how down south we are.
Wow.
But like when I came to South Texas just to check things out or whatever, things were building up. I came later to move in and they were built. So that's how fast things are moving here. And I kid you not, I think within 10, 15 years, it's kind of going to be like Austin or whatever, only with a more Mexican flavor. That's that's how I conceive of it,
That's pretty cool. That's awesome.
I'm in a good spot. I'm in a good spot in the right time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, it's so funny. I've only been to Texas once. Unfortunately, I was kind of in and out. I was there just for kind of a quick business trip. But man, I know so many people that go to visit Texas and then just don't come back. They just say like, yeah, I'm going to send for my things, or I'm going to come back and get my stuff and load up a U-Haul and I'm going. And it's cool. It's all different areas of Texas. Obviously, Austin's one that's getting really, really popular already. And it's also exciting to see that Texas is becoming like a real hub for jiu-jitsu now too. I mean, between all the people
for everything,
man,
jiu-jitsu and Sambo as well. I know it's two different sports, but Texas became somewhat of a hotspot for judo and Sambo as well. Yeah,
really interesting. I didn't know that. That's incredible. Well, man, with you going to McAllen, man, that town's sure lucky, man. It's they've got some great instruction and great academy in their town now.
Yes, and there's some good Sambo and judo here, in Texas already. I'm just a new boy in town.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Well, man, so Vlad, as I mentioned in your intro, you're not only a BJJ black belt, but you're also an accomplished wrestler and a judo black belt and a master of sport in Sambo. In other words, you know a thing or two about takedowns. So the topic I wanted to cover with you today is building a takedown blueprint, because this is something that a lot of people in jiu-jitsu, I think, are working really hard to improve upon. And unfortunately, in many jiu-jitsu academies around the world, the takedowns don't get quite as much emphasis in training as they should. This obviously varies greatly from academy to academy, but in general, jiu-jitsu is a ground-based art, and so naturally there's more attention spent on the ground. But I've always said that a grappler who has poor takedown abilities is like a pilot who flies perfectly in the sky but can't take the plane off by himself. In your years of training and competing and teaching, how significant is the gap in takedowns between jiu-jitsu and other grappling arts?
Giant, man. What's funny? I play often like pure jiu-jitsu, like the blueprint of jiu-jitsu. We start top and bottom, never on our knees, because this is just stupid. Like who wrestles on their knees? Are you getting ready to fight little people or whatever, Hasbullah maybe, or kids or whatever? Like no, right? Like why are you fighting on your knees? When match from standing goes to the ground, it's usually some kind of top and bottom, right? Top half guard, the regular guard. So start there, go in a half guard, pull half guard, and play like that. So I'm sorry, it's a long default. Whenever I start my jiu-jitsu match, even if it's going to be a guard pull right away from standing, there's completely different mechanics to when and signature of the match opposed to when you start already on the ground. It's weird, man. And I truly shine, I think, like false modesty aside, I truly shine when I can mix up grappling in my jiu-jitsu, you know what I'm saying? Even if they pull guard, just dynamics of everything is different, you know? They have to pull correctly because I know which grips to obtain to negate the guard pull or make it hard or difficult or whatever, you know? Obviously, they need to engage in wrestling a little bit because if they truly only want to pull guard, all they have to do is just grab like this and pull guard. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. Then you in jiu-jitsu, you sign terms of agreement, start passing guard. But if they start to engage a little bit in hand fighting, I know a couple little tricks how to slow down or negate guard pull or how to force like a shitty guard pull to, you know, which is guard I can easily pass or whatever. So blueprint. So it's like this also, right? You absolutely need to somebody, instructor who knows like the game inside and out. You cannot, like a good jiu-jitsu black belt world champion, he cannot go watch single and double leg takedown or maybe Moroto Shionage, learn it well and introduce. It's still disservice because there's so many precursors that happen before takedown or throw takes place. You know what I'm saying? So although he's outrageous at doing like a throw or whatever, but so many things are missing. And he would never know it because he never got his feet wet like a wrestler, sambist or judoka would be, right? So before we execute takedown, and our takedown in jiu-jitsu must be controlled, right, guys? So it's a very specific takedown, very similar to scholastic wrestling. If you go like a big throws like Greco, Sambo, Judo, some of them are not controlled because those sports are throw-centrific. I can throw somebody and do not control the fall. I don't care. I still score my points, and a lot of points, you know, up to 5 points or whatever. But in scholastic and jiu-jitsu, all that stuff does not matter. In jiu-jitsu, the maximum points you can score 2. And you have to control your guy. You can't whip him, you know. So you have to adjust that. So precursors are footwork, posture, hand fighting, all that stuff, right? And it has to be repeated just like your shrimps, your bridges, your sit-ups, your tactical your stand-ups, you know, technical get-ups. There we go. So all has to be second nature, and all that takes time and changes the structure and the paradigm of the practice. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difficulty, you know? Like, why would I spend so much time working for some 2 points if I can pull guard and just like finish the match there? So that's the dilemma in jiu-jitsu. But shall you desire to introduce stand-up wrestling of any sort? Because that's another thing. Often people fall in one blueprint, wrestling blueprint, which is a fantastic blueprint. But sometimes other things work too, man. You know, other things work too. So why not steal some to your advantage? Because when I wrestle, I can still wrestle with all the rules of freestyle, Greco, or folk style. But I have my own little tricks that will make my signature completely different. You know, so the structure of the class has to practice. Like whenever you introduce leg locks or new choke or whatever, it's the same class. Everything is exactly the same. But once you start to introduce stand-up, you need to warm up in a certain way. You absolutely have to be introduced to safety and break falls, right? All that stuff takes time. You have to be certainly of a certain physical stature. You know, like there is a thing, nerd jitsu, and it works fine. But in wrestling, man, you got to be somewhat fit, man. You don't have to be Hercules or gymnast, but dude, it requires a lot of movement, a lot of agility, a lot of sudden stops. So, you know, and all that changes the paradigm completely. It's not like introducing roll and heel hook to practice. Now you have to warm up, you have to do break fall, and you have to do like a certain type of warm up with a little bit of acrobatics. So if you have an instructor who knows all that, then you're golden. And if you have the guy who's like, oh man, I want my guy to learn takedowns, goes on YouTube and learns Kouchigari, that's not really takedowns, you know?
That's all very well said.
Sorry, Ryan, I went in a rabbit hole.
No, you didn't. No, this is exactly the rabbit hole I wanted you to go down, man. So let me ask. You mentioned a couple of things that I'd like to zoom in on. One, you mentioned that sometimes people don't have the coach that has all that knowledge. Maybe that coach didn't come up doing wrestling or infusing jiu-jitsu or sambo or things like that. So for someone that finds himself in a situation where they don't have that knowledge readily available at their academy, what do you recommend they do?
Oh man, seminars. So listen, jiu-jitsu is so vast, and I happen to binge practice in this movement, not necessarily jiu-jitsu, but jiu-jitsu like for about 40 years. So just simply by default, I'm lucky. Like I had this much time to develop this many games, this many methods, and understanding of this many techniques. You know, under pressure, we still go to like a couple meta games. But generally, man, I can teach berimbolo, man, you know, but sometimes I'll run into something I do not know, man. I don't know, like lapel guard or whatever. And that is when I research. And because I already have good base knowledge of jiu-jitsu, I can pick up a material and own it like it's mine. Or number two, I invite a specialist. I invite Jeff Chen, Ivan Vasilchuk, Coach Wade Shellis. Coach Wade Shellis, come show me your cradles because they're outrageous. So I will seek out a specialist, whether it's on a YouTube or some kind of like streaming device, or actually invite them to my gym. I will always invite. Because it's foolish to state I know everything. I know a lot, 40 years, a lot of time to acquire knowledge. But goddamn, it constantly changes, evolves, and there's so much I do not know, and that's when I will go to a specialist. Whenever you're smart and have like good fundamentals about jiu-jitsu, and like, oh shit, I want to develop jumping armbar or jumping front, then you go to a guy who does that, right? You go to a specialist. Same thing with wrestling. And guys, it's not like you have to do it forever. Once you got your feet wet and got fundamentals, and your coach taught you how to teach yourself, then you can introduce wrestling, and it's going to be an efficient way of delivery, the whole stream, the whole Monty, as opposed to teaching technique here, single leg there, double leg there.
That's incredible. I love that. Yeah, and I love that you've emphasized it. Like, man, we're in the day and age now where the information's out there. It's everywhere. It's not like I know. Yeah, you're not isolated to your regional training center anymore. You can go all. You can learn from all over the world. And I mean, that's what we do here at That's what we do here at BJJ Fanatics. That's our whole thing, right?
Yes.
So that's really cool. There's something else you mentioned there too that I wanted to make sure we mentioned that we focus on. You mentioned all the precursors that exist in the takedown game. And I think that's such an important detail to focus on, because when people are first learning how to do takedowns, how to wrestle, how to use judo, I think that a lot of times they're thinking of the move they want to do, or they're thinking of the technique that they've been studying, but they're not focusing so much on the subtleties that exist in between the execution of the takedown and the start of the round. So things like grip fighting, things like breaking posture, things like dropping levels, things like setting up and manipulating the footwork of the other person while using your own footwork. Talk about that a little bit. What do you think are some of the most important things to focus on when you're brand new to learning how to wrestle?
Gotcha. So listen, a lot of people, and I'll start from far away, and I'll get dialed in. A lot of people do not allow new students to spar. Sometimes I don't let them spar for like maybe 2 or 3 classes, literally, and then they go in. Yeah. They don't have to get fundamentals for a month or 3 weeks. And the reason being, I want to see where the natural tendencies are. So once the guy who does not like even know anything, but he took 3 classes, he knows a little bit. I want to see where his brain takes him, and then I will exploit that. I will like, okay, Johnny, man, I see that you're a short guy, man, and like you start to change levels. Boom, there we go. That's your meta game. You'll know anything after you're done with me 15 years from now, but for the first year, we'll work on double leg takedowns. Or another guy, Mikey. Mikey is super tall, and changing levels is just stupid. Mikey, foot sweeps and uchimatas all day, all right? You get the wizard like this, wrist control like this. So, yeah, I always have my guys fight, see what they do naturally, and then advise. And another, I like, I say it, what do you call it? Stop and explore, okay? Sometimes, normally we warm up, we drill, then we roll. But often what I do, especially with beginners or whatever, as I roll, we hit some kind of situation, usually when I tap them or whatever, right? And I'm like, let's go over again. Let's go over again. I'm going to slow down like this, and that's what you should be doing. We always exploit, man, always exploit.
So when it comes to learning how to like grip fight and hand fight, like the starting point, like the first contact that people make in grappling, what do you like to?
Yeah, there are a few methods. Me personally, I like 2-on-1, over under, and front headlock. So all my game, I try to funnel there. And then I see what people like, body locks, long distance, after evaluating what they naturally gravitate, we'll design a plan for them. And I will teach like this technique or sequence of these techniques that would fit his modality of behavior, body type, and what he does,
Excellent. I really like that.
Yes. So yeah, it's motion, then ties, because you cannot wrestle like this, like in Sistema, right? You have to actually grab somebody and get somebody down. And then we'll figure out, by watching my guys, I figure out what kind of ties they, naturally roll down to, and that's what we exploit.
That's excellent.
This kind of thing. And after they get the fundamentals and understand things a little bit more and get confidence, that is when they start discovering and exploiting their own ties and their own setup and so forth and so on. It's very creative, I mean, there is a bit of a regimented portion to that, and a bit of freestyle and very pick what you want. Does it make any sense? It's both relaxed and militant at the same time, like regimented.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I like the idea that you let people kind of explore and find what they naturally are drawn to. Because I think sometimes people might get a little kind of like pigeonholed in their head of like overanalyzing everything they're doing and thinking, okay, is this right? Is this wrong? Whereas if you're just having fun and just kind of playing with it and experimenting with things, yeah, it seems like your brain will a little better.
The goal of a practice that a student should be happy and empowered after class. Sometimes even after getting your ass kicked, you still feel great because like you kind of learn lesson, and because it's not competition, you don't take it too hard and you still learn, you know. So that's my goal. My goal is that my student feels empowered after practice is over, not defeated and like, oh my God, oh, I'm such a loser.
That's awesome.
So little fun, you know. Oh, dude, we like sing, and I always try to keep it like some people like Donaher, right? Is very like intellectual, very academic, dry delivery, like a lesson, like a lecture. I like to relate knowledge in a scientific fashion, but I'm a little bit more animated, you know, and a little bit more high energy. That's my way of delivery.
Yeah, I've seen you mix in a lot of humor when you're teaching. It's always entertaining hearing the analogies that you make and things like that. For sure. There's something else you said. There's something else you said earlier too. Speaking of, you mentioned empowerment. Speaking of power and strength, you mentioned that it's important to have a physical baseline before you start learning how to grapple. Before you start, especially particularly with wrestling and judo and things like that. What do you think is the physical baseline, the minimum that someone should be able to a minimum base level, a baseline of physicality that someone should have themselves?
Gotcha. Well, it's a normal amount of strength. Like I think somewhat fit man should be able to do like 50 squats, about 30 push-ups and 10 pull-ups.
Okay.
Should be able to, you know, raise heart rate to 80% and maintain it for like half hour without dying. Or whatnot, and basic acrobatics, man. It's very important. Like some people think whenever I introduce acrobatics, I'm just showing off, which I am. You know, I still can. But also, it always plays a role. Let me explain. Let's talk back tuck or back handspring. Okay, so the sheer ability, presence of ability to do so indicates that the guy or the gal has flexibility, agility, leg power to explode for a suplex, and mental fortitude to apply such movements, because movements when you jump, roll, or look backwards are the hardest, you know what I'm saying? So therefore, once the guy can do back handspring and back tuck, we can learn and move. So movement first, move second. I think I might have imparted that little piece of philosophy. Like movement is a general pattern of moving, and move is a technique. For example, larger squat is a movement, and single leg or double leg would be a move, right? So if you have bad knees or whatever, or for some reason not flexible hips, and you can do lunge, you will never be able to do single leg. Okay, so that's your basic physics line. If you want to do standing fireman scary and you cannot squat your own weight on your neck, do not do fireman scary. You're not ready. If you don't know how to do back roll, you will never learn sumigaeshi and tomoe-nage, and so forth and so on. You know what I'm saying? So that's why baseline of physicality should be present. You should be able to do all these basic moves that will apply to movements, or vice versa. Movements will apply to moves, right? So movement will lead to technique. Yes. That's basic, nothing crazy. Rolls, break, falls, like handstands. Dudes, if you can do back tuck, front handspring, back spring, which is the basic, which I can still do. I'm not talking about even back tucks. Front, back handspring, tuck, you know what I'm saying, just the basic stuff and rolls. And inversion, like be relaxed and flexible. A lot of heavy guys, man, whenever I play in their guard, I fold them over, I call it steamroller, to get actually to an ankle lock. Folding over is just a byproduct. And a lot of people, especially big muscular guys, they scream and tap because they cannot accept it. So flexibility and inversion. I'm a huge fan of Granby rolls, folded rolls, you know, like when you kiss your knees and you roll like this, like a Granby roll. So that's another thing, right? It will play well for a bunch of techniques such as beat ball or roll a knee bar. You can get stacked and reinvert and recover guard when your guard is about pass. So it's a good movement to have. And again, if you cannot invert, none of the stuff will come into your game.
That's excellent.
Movement first, move second.
That's outstanding. I love that, man. You know, Vlad, there's a conversation that you and I had in person when we were up in St. Louis for the Combat Wrestling Worlds. You were talking to me about growing up in Russia and how initially you started with a gymnastics program before you got into anything else. And you were explaining to me the yes. benefits of that and how it gave you this tremendous body awareness, and you understood the biomechanical movements of yourself much better as a result of that. And then you started explaining to me all the ways that it translated into grappling, and that really inspired me with yes. my kids now. I want my kids to do gymnastics first before anything else, and so my daughter's going to actually start pretty soon.
The confidence it gives your children is outrageous.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I could see what you were saying. Like I could see how regardless of whatever sport you're going to get into afterwards, gymnastics is such a tremendous baseline of just being able to have, dexterity and body awareness and everything else. So
absolutely.
Do you think, now let me ask you this, for people that have already started jiu-jitsu, do you think that going into gymnastics afterwards is still beneficial, or do you feel like they might have missed the window there?
Yes. No. You see, it's all about attitude, man. I've seen people in their 30s achieving like tremendous goals, doing like a bend over back, the back break, going onto bridges, no hands, springs off the head, insane stuff. It's only because they want it, and there is some self-belief and a method. Once you have three things, you want it, there's self-belief, and there is a system, you will achieve anything. So no, it's never too late. It's always good, man. Yeah, of course, dude. It's much easier. It's like it's a cheat code. It's a superpower to start when you're a child. There's just no way around it, man. That's it.
Yeah.
But it's okay, guys. Do not look back in a back rearview mirror. You on this leg of your martial arts journey for whatever reason. So enjoy it. Like, do not poison your existence, but thinking, what if? Just enjoy what's going to be, not what if could have been.
Awesome. I love that. That's awesome, man.
Sorry, took another left turn. Yes, it's always good. I never regret shit. Yes.
That's excellent. I love it, man. Yeah, Vlad, I think when it comes to takedowns, I think that one obstacle that stands in the way of people devoting more time to it is fear of injury. And it makes perfect sense. I mean, injuries happen most often during scrambles, and takedowns present lots of scrambles. Takedown live sparring, it's a scrambly kind of thing. What advice can you offer to people to overcome that hesitation and feel more comfortable training takedowns?
Two things, man. Warm up. The older I get, the more I need to warm up. And dude, once I break this sweat, I just become hungry and like zone in, and I can flow drill for a little bit, and it looks like a real fight, So warming up and education, because sometimes a lot of injuries, especially lateral pressure delivery on the knees, happen from beginners, from like shitty tanya toshis, flying scissors. And sometimes when they both have like overhook, underhook, they lock up hip to hip, and somebody does stani, and somebody's leg is in between. I can recreate and show, but I see this position all the time, and I fucking scream my brains out when I see two beginners locked in. So one guy is like this, and one is like this.
Yeah,
it's like a scissor.
Yeah.
And this guy breaks this guy knee. Yep. All right, because he goes into for suplex, and the leg gets stuck. And as soon as I see that, because I'm cultured in martial arts and educated, I'm like, stop! Do not produce any effort, unwind. And there are a few spots like that, like scissors. I do not allow my guys to do scissors. Tanya Toshi, yes. Scissors, no. That's the only not allowed takedown. And I'm also very leery on mat return, which looks super safe. But sometimes when you spike somebody with force, I've seen dislocated shoulders. That's how I dislocated mine. And one boy in my gym dislocated his, and I popped the shoulder back in. So so now the way I teach mat return, I allow them to drop by their own weight. I never spike down. Let them just fucking drop. If you have, because the way you fall on your force on your shoulder. There is no way to apply proper ukemi. It's a fucked up fall.
Yeah.
And that's how shoulders, wrists, or elbows get dislocated. So I was about to ban this takedown from my gym, but I'm like, So warm up and know the bad spots. And if your coach knows what's up, and I, humbly think I know what's up. I know like this fucking 15 dangerous spots, and whenever I observe them, I yell and I educate my guys. I'm like, you're on the spot, and you will continue this throw, and what it would have result, breaking knee or a neck or whatever. Do not do that,
That's excellent.
So this kind of thing. And unfortunately, yes, stand-up wrestling is the biggest injury cause. It's not even like fucking like crank submissions. It's just like these accidents, man. And it all comes from culture and ability to flow. Sometimes when even you go balls to the wall with somebody and you still know how to do things, man, nobody gets hurt, bro. Nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, that's excellent.
People get hurt from beginners or malicious intent,
Yeah, very well said, man.
So malicious intent, we kick those fuckers out, like go home.
Yeah.
And with beginners, they're not even people yet. We teach them,
they're earning their feathers to become people. Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Listen, right? I'm sure you have experience like fighting or grappling with lay people. It's a superpower in a cheat code. They don't fucking know what they're doing. It's like pathetically sad or funny how easy it is to handle a dude who thinks he's tough when they don't know how to fight or grapple. And especially because like when you punch somebody in the face, it's something fucking ultimate. You know, it's like, ugh. But if you wrap somebody up like a cobra and strangle him, it's like, you know, I did not bruise you up and I still fucked you up.
Exactly.
That speaks volumes, man. Yeah. So white belts are not there yet, you know.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember when my old days of working security at bars and stuff back when I was a blue belt. I remember the first time I ever had to handle someone physically. We clinched up, and I swear, like Vlad, I didn't even realize what I did. It was just like in the blink of an eye, I'm in mount, and I'm just like, how in the world did that happen? So yeah, no, I could totally relate.
And that's why you train. That's why you train, so you're hard to kill, and you don't have to think when you do shit.
Exactly.
You apply moves on autopilot. You see, that was good. You don't even know how you ended up. So your training worked out well. It was very well worth it. You don't know what happened, but you're on the mount.
Autopilot, man. Yeah. So for the people that don't recognize what they're doing yet, though. So basically, for the people that might have that hesitancy to go in and start training takedowns, basically, do you think that having an agreement limiting what takedowns we should be doing, so like flying scissors and things like that, eliminate some things from our training here that could be more high risk?
And scissors, they could be done safely. Scissor takedown could be done safely, but it's just too many moving parts. Yeah. It's, you know, and so many moves in jiu-jitsu. We can live without one, you know. Yeah, sure. And I will teach it to my advanced guys. But like, if you don't allow to do it in the gym, why teach it? Because they cannot get good at it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's interesting, like with boxing, like I picked up boxing within the last year again. It's something I used to do when I was younger, and I'm really enjoying doing it again. And I appreciate about boxing sparring where, you know, we're sparring at 50 to 60%. We very rarely go any higher than that because it's just not necessary. And I was wondering if there's a way to apply that kind of mindset to a live wrestling exchange. Like, is there, do you often,
100%. But it takes culture and education. It takes two athletes. If one guy is a dummy and a beginner, and one is like Olympic level guy, it's not going to work out. It takes two tigers to jam, you know?
Yeah.
So once you have two people that understand, there's certain, and especially the teammates, and there is like this bond and like cerebral understanding and unspoken chemistry, you know what I'm saying? I have people like that, you know? I have my favorite ukis, and I have people that are like athletic, and I will never use an Nunuki because they react so weird, man. They bend the way they're supposed to bend. I'm like, you would never react like that if I threw you for real, but now you decide to go this way, you know? So it's all about bond and chemistry, and I cherish people like that like gold because, you know, I'm coach, right? I'm a coach. I'm servant to my students. Like, they're supposed to get better. And whenever I train, that's my goal. I still have fun and whatever. But as far as getting trained, I get to train when I warm up, right? Because it's a part of training. And I get to train when I roll. But in between, it's all students. So whenever I get a good partner I can drill with and flow, oh my God, I love those guys, you know? Awesome. Just like get in there. And it usually starts with pummel. I start with pummel. It's my tradition. I pummel, then I start to pummel into skills, duck under, arm drags. And 10 minutes later, we're sweaty and just like cat fighting. It's awesome. I do it only with few partners, you know? Yeah. I need connection to do that.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. And as far as drilling goes, what are some of your favorite drills to develop takedown skills? So you said you use a lot of pummel position. Do you have any particular like mini games or things like that?
Yes. Oh my God. Dude. Yes, I have tons. Whenever we pummel, right? Because most people just pummel blindly.
Sure.
And it may be good for one, but it's whole like layer of techniques. So you can duck under, you can do throws, you can arm drag, you can obtain double underhooks. And that's what I often do. We start to pummel, whoever gets double unders wins. And with kids, I do touching the toes. So two athletes, and you got to touch toes, you know? And that's how you teach commitment to a shot and level change. I play those games.
So their hand goes to the other person's toe, you're saying?
Yeah. It's two athletes, and one kid has to touch other kids' toes or foot. And I have a couple, and it's funny because nobody can. And then I introduce some little sneakery. So I say, listen, put your leg forward like this, right? And they're gonna shoot, you draw it back, and you touch their foot. Or you go for one and sneak to yes. And then, at first you see what they can do naturally. And they're just being dummies, being kiddos or whatever, nothing, And then you start teaching strategy and how to fool people, And I always teach my kids that martial arts is the only place in life where you can be sneaky and conniving. Other than that, we expect honesty and transparency.
Exactly.
And I start teaching tricks. Yeah. And so right away they teach strategy, they teach feints, and level change. And the level change is very intuitive because, dude, my kids, anytime I try to like do them squat, make them squat and lunge, only half kids can do it, right? And I get like all angry. I'm like, why can't you squat? But then we start doing games, touching the toes, and all of a sudden they change levels. You know what I'm saying? You introduce that little race, that little game, and things like, yeah. With kids, it's very important to do games, and with adults, goals.
That's excellent. Yeah, I really like that. Where do you think the balance lies between like live sparring and drilling? Do you do kind of a 50-50 split within your academy, or do you do one of the other?
Yes. I would say 50-50 split, 50 drilling, 50 sparring, maybe a little bit more drilling. And in its turn, sparring should be subdivided into at least 50-50, 50 free and 50 situational. If not, 70 situational, whatever theme you're working that week, and 30 freestyle sparring, Because sometimes, let's say we work on arm bars or whatever, right? And a guy is a leg lock specialist, so he never fucking gets to arm bars. So I'm like, okay, we're going to start in an arm bar position. I want you to experience that because you never get there, So then the experience gain confidence in this position, and boom, another tool in the game.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's something earlier, Vlad, that you said that I wanted to make sure we circle back to also. You mentioned that the wrestling blueprint for takedowns is great, but it's obviously not the only option. There's obviously a few different schools of takedowns. You have the judo style of takedowns. Yes. You have wrestling style. Within wrestling, there's a couple different branches. There's like freestyle and Greco, for example. But overall, these styles utilize different postures and there's different mechanics involved. So now you've obviously fused these styles together in your own game. But how do you advise students to starting out with takedowns to choose which style is correct for them, which school of takedowns is best for them?
That, beginner sparring, that.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So I do have, like, everybody learns the same stuff, right? Whenever I have curriculum, I will learn, I cannot teach 15 kids 15 techniques or 15 people, right? It's one technique. And then I will, like, watch what they do, and I will correct, and I will add on. That's how it happens. Add-on happens once the group separates a little bit and starts drilling or whatever. Or I see them spar, because sometimes I don't spar either. I just watch, and I will stop and correct and exploit the position.
That's cool.
That's how we get better.
Now, if you're watching two students do that and you notice one, like let's say, what are some triggers in your mind that are going to make you lean towards showing someone more judo style takedowns as opposed to wrestling? Like, what's something that a student might be naturally doing that makes you think, you know what, I think the judo setups are going to be really good for this guy?
Sometimes they say sensei. Often people here call me sensei. I don't like gi. Boom. Like, if you don't like gi, naturally right away I will go to legs, and no gi wrestling. And if they're tall and lanky and come to gi classes, I will teach them judo style takedowns. It's all about preference. You like literally observe it, and it's fairly easy. You observe what they do, and you introduce them to technique you think they should be doing. And then in return, they will pick something, because sometimes what you offer is not really important to them, and sometimes it is. So it's on them to learn what they want to learn. Goes back again. I'm a coach, and I gave my guy enough fundamentals so he knows how to coach himself, and he knows what to take from my instruction, from my extra instruction.
That's awesome. I really like that, man. Now, let's say that you have a student that takes either road. He's either more of a wrestling-based guy or he's more of a judo-based guy. For each style, depending which road he takes, what's the first technique for each of those styles that you think is really, really good for any fundamental student, student to learn?
Gotcha. I think single leg takedown in a context of no gi is almost more important than entirety of Sambo and Judo.
Wow.
And I know I said it and I pissed off a few people, but dude, single leg is such a universal tool, right? It's a takedown. You can wrestle up, so you use it as a sweep, right? You can use it as a takedown. You can use it as a guard pass. You can wrestle. It's so many, and if you have a good front headlock defense, you become like a machine, half guard, butterfly guard. So single leg for no gi, and for the gi, I usually control sleeve and underhook belt, because with the belt I can climb up on a pinch headlock, I can go down low, I can do anything with the body like suplex, tanetoshi, or anything over the hip. So usually, as a rule of thumb, whenever I teach my meta stand up for gi, it's underhooking system, belt system. For that reason, up tier, middle tier, down tier, and tremendous amount of techniques in each tier, like a lot of big spread. I call underhook as a key that will open many doors. So that's why I teach. But it's not just underhook; it's underhook with a belt grip. So for no gi, it's usually single leg plus front headlock plus over under plus 2-on-1. And in gi, it's usually on the hook system. And then again, I see what they like, because some people like sacrifice. Usually, if I am to teach a quick lesson, and I absolutely must know that my guy retains something, and my guy is Jujitero, I would usually teach either Tomoe-nage, Sumigaeshi, or some kind of foot sweeps, because they have the most result, they are the easiest, require less effort, and they don't backfire. Right? With a Moroto Shionage, you turn your back. With a shot, you turn your neck into your guy or whatever. So foot sweeps and sacrifice are the easiest, and it's a great segue to newaza, to mat work, even if you fuck it up.
Awesome. That's great, man. No, I appreciate the insight, man. So for the people out there listening, you got some options now. You can definitely know where you can start. So, Vlad, I'll tell you what, man. We've reached the point of the show. This is where I always play a game with my guest. This is a game called the Pummel. We just talked about pummeling, and you're the master, man. So I'm going to pummel with you here. This for the people new to the show. The Pummel's a series of random questions. Some of these have to do with jiu-jitsu. Some of them have nothing to do with jiu-jitsu. But Vlad, if you're down to play this game once again, my friend, I'd love to play this with you.
Anything for double underhooks, Ryan.
See, you know the game. All right, question one. What's the worst job you ever had?
Dealing with sewage. And especially if some nut busts or whatever, pipe busts, oh my God, you have to deal with shit, literally.
That's horrible.
Yes.
It's
here, it's in America. It's a needed job, and it's a sign of developed civilization. So yes, dealing with sewage was the worst job.
That's definitely a rough job, man. But yeah, you're right. The people that are out there doing it, man, it's a staple of our society, man. We have to have it. So God bless the people out there doing it. What do you think is a secret talent that you have that people might not know about? Secret
talent? Oh my God. I know I said last time juggle. People do not know.
Yes.
I cannot dance, but I can bust a move and surprise everybody.
Oh, okay.
It's usually like two, three piece. And it looks good for about like 15 seconds, and then I get shy. But secret talent.
That's perfect for like the ending of an Instagram video or something. Yeah.
Real like a moonwalk or whatever, you know, for TikTok.
Next time you show next time you show a throw on TikTok, you got to just moonwalk out of the camera, and that's the end of the video. That's perfect.
It's happening. It's happening.
Who's a celebrity that you'd like to train with? That you'd like to roll with?
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, good one. Good one.
Keanu Reeves. When I was John Wick, separation of labor was intense. Like I was not supposed to give any advice. Like the coffee guy will not serve you tea, you know what I'm saying? And a sandwich guy will not serve you salad or something like that, due to union rules or whatever. So, and their stunt crew was outrageous. It's not like they even needed me. But for a quick second, Keanu asked me advice on jumping armbar. And I was so happy. I'm like, oh my God. So I busted the phone, started to research like YouTube rather, finding my own jumping armbar. So yeah, Keanu, I would like to train with Keanu and clean his jumping armbar a little bit, because I was not happy with it in John Wick 1.
That's awesome. Yeah, a lot of people don't know Vlad was on set for John Wick 1. That is really cool, man. You were like an advisor, right? You were like a choreography advisor?
No. I was not an advisor. No. They had advisors. I was just a henchman. Not nameless. My name was Pavel. But I was a henchman. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool, man. What do you think is the worst injury that you've had from training or competition?
Dude, I had a couple bad injuries, in my shoulder, but believe it or not, I guess the worst injury, and I say it's the worst because it's ongoing. I keep popping my rib, intercostal rib tissue, whatever, popping or slipping the rib. That's what they call it. And like if I bare my stomach, you'll see like it's arthritic at this point and like protruding, and it's usually one side. Couple times it happened on the other side. So I had worse injuries than rib popping, but because rib popping is so icky and it lasts for like about a month, and I get it like every year and a half or whatever, I'll say that one. It's fucking annoying, man.
Yeah.
And there's no account that I cannot stop it. Like for example, my neck hurts. I know not to bridge. I know not to post my head, and I will ask my partner, don't grab me in a guillotine. But with a rib, it just goes and boom, it pops, and there's no stopping it. There's no seeing when it happens.
Yeah.
That's kind of like annoying.
I've seen people dealing with that though, like especially in the front. Like it's not in the back. It's like the one in the front that just constantly slips out of place. I've seen people deal with that and how annoying that can be. So I'm sorry you're going through that, man.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there it is. There you go. Yeah, protrudes out like that. Yep. Yeah, you can see that through people's rash. Like my friends that have the same injury, you can see it through their rash guard.
Yeah,
there's just a bump there in the chest. It is.
With a tight feeling rash guard, you can see it popping up more, huh?
Yeah. What do you think is your favorite bad food to eat? Favorite junk food?
Cereal. I stopped eating cereal some time ago. It is a true junk food. But gosh darn, sometimes I'm in the mood for some Cheerios. I don't like super sugary cereal. It's usually Cheerios with milk, which is another controversial dietary thing or whatever. But yeah, favorite junk food, cereal.
Cereal. You just go like straight normal Cheerios, or do you do Honey Nut Cheerios?
No, whatever my daughter eats at the time.
That's good. That's excellent.
Usually regular ones, Honey Nut. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think was the scariest moment of your life?
Scariest moment? I am yet to experience one.
Good. So you've been a pretty calm life so far.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. One time we were like 16 and we got in a huge street fight.
Oh yeah.
And oh my God, we got fucking annihilated. There was like 15 or 3 of us or whatever. Oh. And it naturally kind of like dissipated, and we're like licking our wounds and walking. And those guys just changed their mind. They decided to like finish the job. And I got like a little scared because I thought, we were going to die that day. Oh. And then we fucking ran like I never ran before. Yeah. So I was about 15, 16 at this moment.
Wow.
Dude, it was for absolutely nothing. It was like a completely random street fight that started out of nothing and did not have to start, and then gravitated something huge. And we got concussion, broken. Like it was, we got fucked.
Jeez.
We got messed up. And dude, like I said, after it stopped, I thought, okay, whatever, I'm going to go home and chill, take care of myself. And then they start to run after us. And that's when I got really fucking scared.
Good thing you could run, man. That's excellent. Yeah, sometimes the best.
I would not lie to you. I thought, man, if they fucking catch us, like we're dead. We're going to get stomped and beat to
Jeez.
And other than that, yeah. A couple times in airplanes, on a particularly turbulent flight, your testicles go right here. It happened more than I'd like to admit. Couple times, but then it happened so fast I did not have time to think about anything.
Yeah. Well,
man, so that's my scary moment.
I'm glad you survived that crazy one when you were a kid. They say sometimes the best self-defense system is track and field, man. If you can run, that's sometimes the very best option. So I was curious if that was so you said it was totally random. I was curious if that was like a soccer related thing, because I've seen videos on YouTube of like the Russian hooligans where there's 20 on 20.
No, so
it's just oh my God, man, these guys are crazy.
Dude, it's funny because I mentioned that fight. I wrote an article about self-defense and what's important in self-defense, and I brought that fight. So what happened? We were going home after karate practice, and karate practice was non-contact, and it was post my Sambo days, right? I already achieved as a teenager a lot of success in Sambo nationally, right? And I switched to karate. And as we go home, my friend Max bumped shoulder with some drunken kid who was fucking 15 or 16. He already drunk, right? And they exchanged words and separated. And literally 2 seconds later, the drunk kid, because we were in somebody else's neighborhood, it was not our neighborhood. Karate gym was in somewhere else, other people's territory. And within seconds, we were swarmed and started to fight. And a couple times I collected with knees and fists, because I was a good student.
Yeah.
But it was non-contact. So I hit once and I freeze, And one time I remember I need somebody, whatever. And oh my God, this shit works. But I was a nice kid and I did not have kill instinct. You know what I'm saying? So all my fucking hitting and kicking somebody only backfired and got them pissed off. But few times intuitively I went for drags at foot sweeps and throws, and people start to fly, man. You know what I'm saying? There were too goddamn many of them. So when I switched to a skill that I really owned and was real and I earned in competition, people were swept somebody, hip toss somebody, did Tayatoshi, whatever. What the fuck? And as I throw people, I get hit from other directions. But what I'm saying, my karate was bullshit. It was non-contact karate. I did not own it, and it only backfired. But my Sambo was actually legit and actually saved my ass. I should have only done that. So.
That's the difference. I think that really is one of the big deciding factors of whether or not something's going to be effective for self-defense is whether or not you can practice it live. Like you said, if you're in a thing where you're pulling punches and things like that, I mean, you're training your brain to pull punches now. You're not training to punch through.
Exactly. And that's exactly what's transpiring. It blew my mind, man. Like it's a textbook, of disconnection of martial art and reality.
Oh man, I'm glad you survived it though. Thankfully, you had the Sambo in the back pocket, man. So that's awesome.
It was embarrassing. I had to go to school at 2 black eyes, broken. It was pathetic because everybody thought I was a tough guy, and I thought I was, but not that day, man, and not that week. I had to go to school with 2 black eyes and shit.
You should have just said you should have just said you should have seen the other 16 guys, or it took 20 guys to do this to me. There's always a good follow up there. What do you think is who's your favorite grappler of all time?
Marcelo Garcia.
Great choice.
Bar none.
Yeah.
Marcelo. My favorite, but as far as like a real GOAT, like objective, Gordon Ryan.
Oh, Gordon. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Gordon Ryan.
Yeah.
Gordon Ryan.
Excellent choice. Very, very hard to pick anyone besides those two.
Yeah.
For sure,
yeah.
Man.
It is. And it's my choice. And different criteria went into judgment, not only actual merits of jiu-jitsu, Sure. Marcelo is the man.
Yeah. Excellent choices, man, for sure. How about your favorite MMA fighter of all time?
Can I give a couple?
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, it's both objectively and subjectively Fyodor Yemelyanenko. Yes. Then Sakuraba, and then GSP.
GSP.
Yeah.
By the way, you pronounce
You
pronounce Fedor's name so much cooler than I say it. Yeah. How do you say his full name again? Say it again. I want to hear it with your accent.
Fyodor. Yes.
Fyodor.
Yes. It's a transliteration of Theodore. That's a Russian version of Theodore.
Oh, no way. I didn't know that. Okay. I didn't know that. Cool.
He was awesome. Very humble man of God. I mean, I don't care if you like it or don't like it, but I like humble people who walk with God. It's a hard path. MMA, man, it's a hard path. We have so many crazy people ending up in jail and doing crazy shit. So it's always easier with somebody next to you, like God or whatever. And I'm not being like sarcastic or mocking. And he's a great role model, man, outrageously humble. Still to this day, I know we're supposed to sell fights, but I still appreciate, as a Soviet athlete, as a guy from that era, I still appreciate humility. So Fedor, Sakuraba, GSP.
Excellent choices, man. Yeah, those were definitely 3 of my favorites as well, man. I always enjoyed watching Fedor fight, man. And yeah, like you said, like his demeanor was always what blew me away. Like no matter what situation he was in, no matter the positions he was in, he was just stone-faced, ice cold, focusing on the objective. And man, he was something else.
Absolutely.
Man. During his prime, he was something else, man. What do you think is your biggest phobia?
Buried alive.
I want to be buried alive. Yeah.
I do not want to be buried alive, man. And you know what? I imagine if I get dropped into a pit with rats, I'll fucking shit myself and die from heart attack.
With rats, you just step on them, man. Rats. They're smaller than you. They're so much smaller than you.
Yeah. Yes. There's something like biblically disgusting about these creatures, And I'm honestly, I'm a fairly tough guy. I've seen like stuff or whatever. But rats, man. No.
Rats get to you. Yeah.
I will never have a pet rat. Even they look cuter than real ones, Nah.
So man, there's probably a lot less rats in Texas than up in New Jersey, huh? The Northeast in general, especially like New York, the New York City, New Jersey. There's a lot up there.
For sure.
Probably not as many down there.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, what armadillos?
I saw a couple coyotes here.
Coyotes,
armadillo. I saw a couple here, man. Dude, there's people here in Texas. I never saw a coyote, and I've seen 3.
Seriously?
It was 2 different. I saw one once and a couple another one time. So twice, 3 total.
That's amazing. We were talking about junk food earlier. You mentioned that one of the big changes you've seen since living in Texas is the access to good Mexican food, man. And I've heard that anywhere along the border, so like Texas, the Southeast, and Southern California, the Mexican food's just like incomparable to the rest of the country.
Yes. Yes.
What's your favorite? What's your go-to thing?
Tacos, bro. Tacos, nice. Man. Tacos. Tacos tropos. Yeah. I like tacos tropos. That's pork tacos.
Yeah.
And fajita, skirt steak. Don't go skirt steak is for gringos. Over here, it's fajita steak. And so that became like one of my most favorite cuts. And also, whenever I lived in New York, Wagyu beef was unobtainable. It was like sci-fi to get Wagyu beef.
Yeah.
Here, like I got tired of eating it. It just kind of pricey. It's still within reach. Yeah. So a lot of good beef, a lot of good food, man. A lot of good exotic vegetables and fruit from produce from Mexico. So food is good here.
That's incredible, man. Yeah, the Mexican food is the one thing I really miss, like as far as food goes, living here in Sao Paulo, is that they have Mexican restaurants here, but they just don't quite hit the mark. It's just not quite the same thing. Yeah.
No. My daughter graduated college, and I went there, and her mom got like a little party going on in a Mexican restaurant, and I was like, it's not a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, this is not Mexican.
It was good. Food was good, but it was not my column.
Yeah. No, I totally feel you, man. What do you think is your? Let's see. Let me pick another good thing for you. Oh, what's your most hated food? What's something that you cannot eat no matter what?
I don't have. There's things I will not eat, like Oreo cookies, man. I don't care for Oreo cookies. I would never eat one.
Really?
It's not hated. I will. Just. No.
Okay.
So figure that out. You were having an interview. You were podcasting, right? Is that the word? Malaki Friedman, and he said that Fight is least favorite. And I took it personally. Yeah. Yeah.
That was a direct attack against Vlad. If you don't like pho.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome. But Oreos, you can't eat Oreos, huh? You don't like them. That's interesting. Oreos.
Yeah, I don't like Oreos. And I generally will not consume any food that is like something free, like no fat free, no sugar free, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's going to have fat and sugar if I consume it, yeah.
Yeah. I feel you. What's the first car you ever owned?
Oh, my first car, some kind of Plymouth, some kind of station wagon. My old boss gave it to me. It was a piece of shit, man. It was disgusting. But it drove. Dude, it did not have steering wheel fluid. I mean, it had it, but it had a slow leak or whatever. It was not worth to fix the pan. So I'd have to replenish steering fluid every 3 days or whatever.
Oh, my God.
And one day, during the winter, I had to go up the hill to go home, and the car just would not go. I just fucking cried, man. I'm like, fuck my life. What? Yeah. It was. And dude, I still walked in this car. I had like little racks to carry ladders. Not a big ladder, but nonetheless. So that little Plymouth, dude. One time, here's the funny story, man.
Yeah.
I'm going home, and we have like a stretch of road with a lot of lights, like every quarter mile or so, lights. And that car had like very poor pickup. Like it would not accelerate fast. So I'm driving in the right lane, and there's some old lady in the left lane. She has glasses, and she's like shriveled up. She's chewing on her dentures. And every time a green light comes on, she fucking darts. She darts. Like she's racing me, only she's not. She's just very alert old lady, you know?
Yeah.
And my car barely takes off. So, barely catch up with her to the next light, and it repeats again, like an arrow. She goes. And I caught myself getting angry. And then like 2 minutes later, I'm just laughing at myself. What a fucking idiot. So this old lady beats me at every turn, not even realizing there's like a race going on, you know? There's a race unbeknownst to her. That was kind of funny.
That's hilarious.
So that's my first car, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. She like beats me with these, does not even know I'm competing with her. She just smokes me, chewing on her dentures, and I'm getting all pissed and hilarious.
Dude, I feel like though that if your first car was not a beater, then you lack character in some way. Like that's such a character building. It's such an important thing to deal with a crappy first car.
It is.
You know.
You know what? I never thought of that perspective. You're absolutely right. Like your first car should be beater, so you like appreciate the value.
Yes.
If you're like a rich kid with a BMW, you don't understand the value.
You have no idea. Yeah. You have no concept. So no, that's good. That's good, man. I'm glad that you've upgraded since then. But that Plymouth was that Plymouth was a character builder, man. It was excellent. Who do you think's your favorite superhero?
I don't watch. I know what. I don't watch comic movies or whatever, but I will tell you, probably a mix, Wolverine or Deadpool.
Good choices.
I like those.
Good choices. If you could have a superpower.
Because they were human at one point. Yeah, superpower. Yes.
They were human.
Travel in time.
Travel in time. Yeah, time travel. That's a good one, dude. That's a good one. Where would you go? Where would be your first stop to travel in time?
Oh my gosh. Nazi Germany. I'll go to see how Hitler came to power. I would like to crawl there, presumably speaking German, and I would like to see how nation's psyche changes when usurper takes over and they all comply. Like it's fascinating to me. I'd like to see that. That
is very fascinating. For sure.
Maybe shoot him too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, kind of do the world a favor.
Butterfly effect. Yeah. Just and generally be a quiet observer during historical pivotal historical moments, such as Nazi Germany. French Revolution would have been another one. You know, I would like to see that.
That would have been fascinating to be present, to be a fly on the wall, watching things unfold, the historical events and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure.
I read about this in a book, and now I can see that.
Yeah.
Yes. Superpower.
That is cool. That is a very cool superpower for sure. That would be awesome.
And another superpower I would like to have, is to pass through any guard like butter. All right, that's another superpower I would like to have.
That would be great.
Buchecha's guard, right through.
Just slide right in. That'd be awesome. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That would definitely be a good superpower to add for sure. Final question for the Pummel game, Vlad. If jiu-jitsu or grappling or martial arts didn't exist, what would you be doing with your life, you think?
I think I would be an educator. You know, like not to be like a boastful or like a jerk or whatever, but I find myself often finding pleasure in educating and like giving people aha moments and explaining. My wife often loves, she says, Vlad, everything is a teaching moment with you. I guess that's my persona. And it just happened. So I fell in love with grappling and that solution and the puzzle. And, you know, but yeah, not for martial arts. I could have been still an athlete in something else, you know, probably like powerlifting or some shit like that, some performance type of deal, or a teacher. I can totally see myself like a history teacher or physics teacher, you know, educator for sure. Maybe I'm delusional, but that's how I conceive of myself, you know.
That's awesome. No, I think I think that's pretty accurate because I've known you for several years now. I think that's definitely an accurate assumption, man. I think being a teacher would be something you'd be awesome at for sure. And Vlad, that was the final question for the Pummel game. Congratulations, you win again. You got your double underhooks. So, man, let me ask you this, Vlad. There's something that you've I mentioned earlier in the conversation that you've helped me personally when I've run into some walls here and there with my training. And one of the things you helped me with a lot was when I got diagnosed with a condition called hallux rigidus. It's basically arthritis of the large toe joint. And it's kind of changed the whole way that I have to approach my training, particularly with takedowns, which has been very frustrating because for the last, 8 years or so, I've been focusing primarily on wrestling style shots, dropping levels or snatching up single legs, shooting in for doubles. And that's kind of what naturally spoke to me. So I'm having to kind of reassess my entire standing game. And you were someone that gave me some really good insight and advice. So I wanted to talk to you about this on air. Working around physical limitations. Obviously, if you train long enough, you're going to have an injury. You gave me great advice, man. You really encouraged me to focus on foot sweeps with the judo side, and then wrestling ties on the wrestling side. What are the sorts of limitations have you or people that you know had to work around, and how do you typically find the right solutions?
Got you. So listen, it's so weird. It's almost like a blessing in disguise and finding silver lining. So let's start from the beginning. Back real again. I think, and again, maybe I'm wrong, but it has true in my experience. If you train with any intensity, seriousness, particularly preparing for tournament and a lifelong martial artist, you will get hurt somewhere, man. It just happens, bro, you know? Yeah. And for longest time, I skated away from any serious injury. I was 44 when I seriously got injured to a degree when I needed surgery, right? And then 1 year later, again. So it sucks, but once you accept it, that's the most important thing, accept it. We'll all heal. You'll heal up like a Wolverine and move on. But sometimes what happens, it changes the game a little bit because due to a range of motion on my right shoulder, I still want to get to certain spots. And I found ways of going around it and getting there in a different way, you know? So in other words, my injury sharpened my ingenuity and interest and made me focus and find other avenues to get to the same street, you know what I'm saying? So in a way, it unlocked creative potential and creative process, you know? So that's why I say blessing in disguise. And just work around them, man. You know, neck hurts, ask your partner not to do guillotine, stay away from bridges, you know? Leg hurts, do more pull-ups or whatever. There's always a way to address and work on something and give your injured body part a rest. And if you hurt everywhere, you can always study. Jiu-Jitsu Evolved, there's so much outrageous, fantastic, good footage right here on BJJ Fanatics, right? That you can study, right? Arms hurt, you do legs, right? Legs hurt, you do bench press. Everything hurts, you study. And, and it never ends. So yeah, find different avenues. Injuries often lead you to find different avenues to get to the same spots you like, which is a blessing in disguise, long story short.
That's a great answer, man. And there's so many examples of that too, of like a major obstacle being the start of something new in your game. Like, for example, for a lot of people that don't know, yeah, like the half guard. The half guard, for example, Roberto Gordo is credited as being one of the guys that really developed the half guard. It all started because of a knee injury. He couldn't play regular guard the way that he could before. Pedro Sauer is someone that uses the bully pass a lot, and he mentioned that he started doing that because of a shoulder injury. He couldn't pass. He couldn't use downward pressure with his shoulder, so he had to use other options. So sometimes your injuries lead you to something completely new in your game.
Oh, Kashiwazaki, famous judoka. He was like a shoulder throw guy. Ippon Seoinage hurt his arm and became Sutemiwaza, sacrifice. Now he's known for like Tomoinagi, groundwork pass. Yeah. So his injury led him to switch his specialty, switching gears, and the game he acquired after injury made him a superstar, Yeah,
that's amazing. That's amazing. And that really is kind of the essence of martial arts anyway, isn't it? I mean, the whole idea is about, finding paths and finding solutions and overcoming obstacles.
Keep moving.
Yeah. That's incredible, man.
Yeah, keep moving.
So with that said, there's obviously injuries that people have to learn to work around. And with the advice that you gave me, I've been practicing a lot of my Russian ties. I've been trying to hit foot sweeps. I'm still terrible at foot sweeps. I'm really bad at them. But I'm trying to learn the proper footwork to adjust that. In fact, one of my other friends, Sean Doherty, has been helping me a little bit.
Come to Texas.
Come to Texas, man. I would love to. I would love to, man.
Come for a week.
I seriously
Ryan, I just bought a house. You remember one of the reasons I moved here, because I can, dollar goes far. We've bought a house. You can stay with me, train for free. It will only cost you a trip.
That'd be amazing. I promise I will do that for sure. I really will. Yeah.
All right. And I promise to clean your foot sweep.
That's amazing. When you come. I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. I'm really in a blessed position because I've got people like you. I was mentioning earlier, my friend Sean Doherty, who has also been sending me some videos to help me with my footwork and stuff. So it's great to be able to know that it's such a diverse art that there are always going to be solutions and workarounds. So, but man, Texas is for sure. I will absolutely make the effort to get to Texas and spend a week with you. That would be amazing. Obviously, another thing that happens to a lot of people who train long enough is obviously you get old. Like every year that goes by, you're a year older, right? So, what advice do you offer to aging practitioners, people who are having not necessarily injuries, but maybe limitations that come with just getting older?
Such a good question, man. So it's like this. I'm 48. Like I'm not entirely old yet, but I'm far from 25. It's a funny spot. So I'm still fairly fortunate. I can still do young man stuff, and I have wisdom, But generally, man, I started to cherry pick my roles. Like the lowest hanging fruit, the biggest, the quickest takeaway. I thought I was indestructible up until age of 44. Then I rolled with two heavyweights. They were super skilled black belts, and they're PEDs too. And I got these two injuries, and now I say no. Like if I don't feel secure, if I'm tired, because I'm also when I'm tired and I say no to roll, I'm a little bitch, No, sometimes, and it takes knowledge of oneself to know when you really tired and going farther is ill-advised, or when you're being a little fucking bitch, So you always know where you are. You always know. You know what? I really need to take this roll off, or I'm just being So I start to cherry pick my partners. I drop down the intensity. Ryan, often when I work out, when I lift, I'll burn 1,000 calories in an hour. That's a lot, That's a lot.
Yeah.
And that's all way above drilling and rolling. I don't need it right now. I still want to compete a little bit. My competition days are not entirely over, but I'm not a competitor. I'm more of a coach, So I need to stay in shape, but I do not need to be 10 all the time. Sometimes my workout is 7. It still gets me over the hump, what I'm saying? So I still roll pretty hard though, but I cherry pick my guys. I cherry pick my rolls. And as far as actual warm up, working out, I drop the intensity and I still stay in shape. I'm still not fat or whatever. So working out. And I really, really, really dialed in on recovery, right? The older I get, the more I need to pay attention to recovery. And it's like stretching. I used to do Pravilo. That's the medieval torture device.
Yeah.
I loved it. I could have sworn by this thing. But whatever, acupuncture, ice, hot exposure, ice and cold exposure, cold and hot exposure, Jesus Christ. So sauna and ice baths, massages, CBD oils, all that stuff. Guys, do all that stuff, man. Your body needs it. And sometimes when you overtax your body so much, sometimes there's no coming back. There's no return. You're all fucked and broken. So the earlier you start taking care of your body, the easier it is to hit the ground running when you're 50 and older. So that's my advice, guys. Self-care.
That's excellent.
Okay,
I really like that. Well, I like that there's two things within that you mentioned. You mentioned that there's obviously the working out outside of doing just jiu-jitsu training, like lifting weights, having a regimen that you follow to keep yourself kind of armored from injury. Secondly, the recovery. The recovery thing is huge. And I remember in our first conversation we ever had, way back, like I think it was like 6 or 7 years ago on Grappling Central, where you were talking about how in Russia, when you were coming up in Russia, saunas and spas and things like that were in massage therapy was all like mandatory for a lot of the guys that were on the Russian judo and wrestling teams. So that's something that obviously is greatly beneficial if you're able to add that in, huh?
And the most common things I do, that's just what I mentioned: massage, hot cold exposure. I don't do acupuncture, but some people do, whatever, right? And just sleep, man. Quality of food too. When I was a little bit younger, right? I ate everything in all quantities and shapes before class, after class, during class, instead of class. And I wake up and still be like 170 pounds. And then I, at the age of 35, I started to notice that I cannot eat the same no matter how hard I work out. So dietary adjustments had to be made as well. And it's nothing crazy. It's not like I'm starving my ass, but like I have to watch what I eat. It's always every meal is home cooked meal or restaurant. It's always like a gourmet quality. I don't eat junk food. Cereal is a rare cheat, So take care of yourself, guys. And food and rest is the easiest to fix,
Absolutely. Yeah. Vlad, we were talking earlier about students developing takedowns. I wanted to pick your brain on one more topic kind of along that same line, but specifically for competitors. A lot of people who compete and who are new to, adding wrestling and judo and things like that into their game, when they get to the competition, they might find it to be a little overwhelming because it's live. It's you got the nerves and the anxiety, the adrenaline going. They're fighting for grips. They're anticipating an attempt from their opponent while they're trying to spot their own opportunity, and they sometimes feel rushed and they feel like they need to do something quick rather than relaxing and taking their time. How do you teach your students to manage things like that? Like, how do you manage mindset on the feet, specifically for competition?
It's very easy to get caught up in bells and whistles, because we always say competition is serious, take it seriously. Competition is this, competition is that, competition is worth 1 month of training. So people get in their heads that it's it's a super special. It is a super special event, but you have to find it in your head to deal with it, to treat it like a regular practice, you know what I'm saying? Because what happens after you shake hands, it becomes a regular role. Yeah. But after that, you fucking have diarrhea and throwing up and like fucking temperature and fever, all kinds of shit, right? You're getting so nervous. Yeah. So it's mostly mental. It's so funny because like we all say training is like mostly mental and 50% mental, 50% physical, but we all train only 100% physical. Whereas the mental part, that's when you do meditation, positive talk, and self-conviction or whatever. Yeah, this is just another role, whatever. It takes effort, guys, and also it's completely normal to have butterflies. Like you just be don't be a coward or whatever. Try to gain control of your emotions. It's okay to have them. A brave guy is not the guy who has no fear or whatever, but the guy who gets a handle on it. So once you get a handle with a positive self-talk or whatever mental devices you use, once you start to treat your competition roles like regular roles, everything gets so much easier. All right, it's just another practice.
That's excellent.
And another thing, if I need to get somebody, generally I'm about being a generalist, no pun intended. I want my guys to have as wide an array of arsenal as possible. But if I have a guy and the guy wants to compete, right, and he wants to win, I will reduce the amount of techniques. It's going to be super funneled, right? It's going to be one modality, and my guy will find that modality from any position in any grip. You know what I'm saying?
That's actually.
So it depends on goals and where in competition you are. Yeah. Like I told you, I think like a wrestler. When I want a wrestler to win competition, I teach two things, right? Right off the get-go. Eventually, he'll be sweeping and be inverting and passing guard. But right now, first guy, wrestler, division-wide wrestler comes, and he wants to win a tournament. I will teach him leg locks and front headlocks. Okay, so leg locks because he will take the guy down 100%, and legs are always up in the air. So we do that. Or conversely, if somebody shoots on him, they're not going to take him down. What exposed head will go for front headlock, So I would when I draw specific game plans for that reason. Sometimes if you want to win medals in jiu-jitsu, sometimes you don't want to be generalist, you want to be specialist. Ivan Vasilchuk blew my mind, man. Listen to this. I'm not saying it's good, bad, or I'm agreeing. I'm just saying that it blew my effing mind. He said, Vlad, I do not go to jiu-jitsu anymore because they just trash my brain. I learned like a scissor sweep and some kind of lasso technique that I use all the time, but anything else is useless. So I just use leg locks and arm bars from Sambo. I'm like, oh my God. So he knows two things. And he finds the ways to funnel the skills he has from Sambo into jiu-jitsu play. He does not even drill, man, you know? Wow. And his motto is 1 stance, 1 grip, 1 throw. I'm like, what? No. 5 stances, 17 grips, and 25 throws, you know? That's the most modality. No. He says, no. 1 stance, 1 leg forward, you don't play. 1 grip, you always look for 1 grip. And no matter what he does, he's got like a system of, hand fight or whatever. He always gets to the same grip. He always does 1 throw, which is sumigaeshi. And he's got 2 throws that support the throw. So you see what I'm saying? He's got 1 move centrifugal game with couple little moves to deviate. And he swears that for competition success, that's all you need. And I agree. You know?
Wow. It's funny you said that, because I was going to ask you about that. So you think that it truly is for someone going into a competition, having 1 refined technique as your go-to thing, rather than overwhelming yourself thinking of all the various chains that you could be putting together, is a more efficient.
Right, look, that's how, exactly. I mean, folding pass for Buchecha, whatever, Ushimata for Inoue. Yes, we all have our games, and we'll have our tokuwaza, our signature move, our favorite grip, and a little system that will lead to that with a couple little deviations for plan A, plan B, and plan C. But generally, it's always 1. I don't know if it's good or bad. Again, I think for like longevity, to be true martial artist, to be true artist, you should know more. But if you want to win tournaments, you should know less, you know? I know it's counterintuitive, but it rings true. And when he said it just fucking blew my mind. He's like, Vlad, I don't go to practice. I only go to roll. I don't drill because they fool my head. They fill my head with shit I don't use. I'm like, oh my God, you know? So again, like it, dislike it, argue, it is a merited point, man. It's a point that will make you think.
Yeah. Well, it brings to mind it brings to mind like Hodger Gracie, for example. Hodger's someone that, in every victory he has, it's one of 2 things usually. It's either the collar choke or an arm bar. It's all, the collar choke is his go-to thing. And it's cool because even when people at the highest level know exactly what to expect and know exactly what his goal is, he still gets there. And so I think that there's a lot to be said for that, man, for someone that has a real specialty,
And even if you dislike that modality, you want to be generalist, you cannot deny that works for him. You cannot take, what I'm saying? You cannot negate, you cannot, never mind empirical evidence. If it works, it fucking works, man. The proof is in the pudding.
That's incredible, man. Well, for anyone out there that wants to find what works for you guys, Vlad has several instructionals with us here at BJJ Fanatics, but he's got 7 different instructionals about takedowns in particular. You really can't go wrong with any of them, regardless of the style that you choose to practice first. Vlad has options that cover them all. So go over to bjjfanatics.com and get some of that knowledge, because he drops a lot of really good gems in all of his instructionals. So I really do recommend them. Vlad, in closing, of course, man. In closing, what are some of your major goals for 2023? What are some things you hope to accomplish this year?
You know what? It's going to be a lengthy answer, man. I'm so sorry.
No. Go for it, please.
So listen, I'm not a guy who does resolutions. I make plans. A resolution means like I fucked up some, I got to start over. But I don't fuck up, My lifestyle is good. Generally, the things I do, no, really, like everything is golden. But plans. So last year, I sat down and I wrote a few things. Like I wrote things, techniques I wanted to work on. Right, the actual techniques like Uchimata, roll and E-bar, and some other ones, jumping triangle. Right. Then I wrote down physical things I want to do. I want to reclaim like 32-kilogram lift. I want to climb rope every day. I want to claim my back tuck back, things of that nature. And I have some personal goals. Like read books, translate things, study film, and so forth and so on. And it's a lot of shit, man. It's a lot of like little items. When I put them down, it's like about 70 or some shit. Oh my God, I want to work on a lot of things, So what I did, I proportionally broke them down into weekly plans. So one day I will do like abs and stretching. Other day I will do reading and back tucks. And the 4th day I'll do something, what I'm saying? So all those 70 items that I wrote down, I broke them proportionally into weekly plan. And that's what I do. So those are my goals, man. Yeah, I want to compete one time. I want to claim lift, 132 kg lift. I want to start splitting more and things of that nature. They're very personal, and I'd rather not share most of them, because it's kind of stupid. It's only rings true to me. But competition would be one goal, and getting my academy to 150 students is another goal. Okay, so one kind of personal, one kind of business goal. You know,
that's actually, those are great goals.
And yeah, because you get lost. You know, like you start working on flexibility, and then you forget about uchikomis and the back tuck and running or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then you get real good at flexibility and not so good at other 67 items. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I broke them down in even parts, and I write my plans for a week. You know, so and that's how I achieve all my goals, because otherwise they way too goddamn many. It's like hard to track and unachievable. You know, you get lost. So that was my system. You know, I'm so proud of myself that I did that.
That's awesome. That's incredible, man. That's definitely something that I think is I think it's important to write these things down, to keep a journal, have them drawn out.
Yeah. Weight loss was another, and it's not a huge weight loss. I have a certain goal in mind, nothing crazy or whatever. Certain body fat percentage, things of that nature. So all proportionally, at like clips of 3 or 4, I stuck them like in a weekly routine. And that way, after the month is over, I worked on all 70 things. All 70 things I wanted to work on, whether it's technique, some kind of lift, or something personal, it all has been addressed, you know? So by the time year comes, I will proportionally I have been proportionally working on all 70 tasks.
That's incredible. That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
That's very inspirational, man. Hey, I look forward to seeing you achieve them all. And the competition one's going to be awesome, man. It's always great to see you out there competing, putting into practice.
I was going to compete.
Yeah.
I was going to compete last tournament, but I popped my rib again like a week before, man. I was so upset. That's why I said it's the worst injury. Yeah, because it truly derails you. And, it kind of teases you, because you're like, I think I can do it. And then you wake up next day and sneeze and like, no, it's not going to, no. I can't sneeze without crying. No grappling for me, yeah.
That's the same thing that I hear from people that have that injury, is the breathing. Like it hurts to breathe. So like inhaling deeply can be painful. So man, I hope that heals up. And I definitely look forward to seeing you accomplish all your goals, man.
It's on its way out. I already started to, so I still feel a little bit tenderness, but I have been rolling for a week now, full force. So I'm good. It's healing up, Wolverine, Awesome. And ice baths help. Remember, dude, one time, like 2 days ago, I took an ice bath, and it's been a while since I took one. And after I came out, my rib did not hurt like for a full day. And then when it came back, it was a little bit less painful. You know what I'm saying? So it's outrageous.
That's incredible. Yeah, I've never done the ice bath, but I've seen obviously everyone's doing them, man. So there's got to be something.
Ryan, it's like this. The benefits are legion. I have nothing financially gained, but do try it out. Mental benefits alone are completely worth it. Mental benefits, but there's tons of health benefits as well. And the way you feel, dude, you feel like you're flying on clouds. And it's not gonna mend broken bones, but every like little ache, like little tissue, muscle tissue pain you had, it disappears, and you feel like a fucking Superman. Wow. It's outrageous, man. It's a cheat code. But not a shower. Cold shower is not the same as a cold bath for 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, I got to figure out a way to do it, man. My apartment here, I don't really have, I can't really think of anywhere in the apartment that I could put a big tub or anything. So I'd have to figure out something portable that I can do outside. That'd be...
When you come here, food sweeps and ice baths, right? And tacos. Boom,
all day.
3 things.
And tacos, yes.
Food sweeps, tacos, ice bath.
That's all a man needs. What else does a man need?
Ryan, I'm a simple creature. Listen, my Monday is identical to my Friday. I do not wake up on Monday hating life. It's the same as fucking Friday. And I'm a simple creature. I go to eat to lunch to 3 spots, and I will do it for the rest of my life. I go to see the same people in the gym, and I love it. I would not change it for nothing. I will do it for the rest of my fucking life. I go to bed thinking about technique I'm going to be teaching in the morning, and I cannot wake up and go run training. Like I'm blessed. It's outrageous, man. It's so good.
I'm so happy for you, man.
I live it. I'm really living my dream.
I'm really happy. I'm really happy for you, and I can't wait to come to Texas and visit, man. That's for sure going to be on the schedule, I promise. And Vlad, as always, man, I really do appreciate your time as always, man. Thank you so much, man. Well, folks, unfortunately, we're fresh out of time. Vlad, it is always a pleasure talking with you and getting to pick your brain, man. I appreciate you being so generous with your knowledge. And, man, it's always just really, really refreshing to get to learn from you. And you're welcome back on the show anytime you'd like to come back.
Ryan, pleasure is mine. I had fun. Thank you.
Excellent. I appreciate that. For anyone out there that wants to keep up with Vlad, it's real easy to do so. On Facebook, his page is Koulikov Grappling Academy. On Instagram, it's Sambo_Fusion. On TikTok, it's his full name. It's Vladislav Koulikov. YouTube is Sambo Fusion. Website, sambofusion.com. If you guys are ever anywhere near McAllen, Texas, drop into his academy. It's a new school. It's a beautiful facility. It's the biggest facility he's had so far. And you're going to walk away with some tremendous knowledge and training. If you can't make it to Southern Texas, you're still in luck. He's got instructionals with us here at BJJ Fanatics. He's got several of them. In fact, he's got 7 total just about takedowns. So whatever you guys are trying to improve upon in your game, Vlad has some answers for you. So go to bjjfanatics.com and grab some of that knowledge. And that's going to do it for this episode, everybody. I really appreciate you tuning in. Please stay tuned for the next episode of the BJJ Fanatics podcast.